Doesn't really seem that long ago, only a few weeks. The pre-shit hit the fan warnings began. I'm talking about the 2016 elections, if you even want to call them that. It was the most fraudulent event in recent political history. Yeah, a complete clusterfuck of epic proportions. The worst part about it was that everyone, and I mean everyone involved, knew it, but didn't do a thing about it. Well, as a result, here we are. We are all facing the worst crisis in world history, and there's no end in sight. After the election, it appeared that all the touchy-feely snowflakes in the country had finally gotten what they wanted. Excessive political correctness, massive firings of police officers, and a lot of free government goodies. Along with all that, they got a few added bonuses. The thought police, that's one of my favorites. The major U.S. universities and other institutes of learning that accepted government funds of any kind were required to form diversity investigation units. These DIUs had the responsibility of coming to your dorm room, frat house, or private off-campus domicile any time, day or night, that they felt like it. And their goal was to give you a lot of shit if you dared to offend anyone. What that meant is if you spoke of a different opinion on any given liberal subject, you were immediately branded a racist, homophobic, Islamophobic, misogynistic hater. The snowflakes loved it. So did the ACLU. And it was fully supported by the Department of Justice. After the mass firings of veteran police officers and the subsequent hiring of more sensitive replacements, violent crime soared. But the prosecutions of these crimes, ironically enough, dropped. Judges feared retaliation from certain civil rights groups. These cases brought before the courts were so flimsy that dismissal was more common than ever before. The free stuff from the government quickly got out of hand. Free education, free housing, free food, and that ever so popular $15 minimum wage for the burger flippers, as well as free medical care, resulted in small businesses closing. The upper tax rate went from 39% all the way up to 54.5% with a stroke of a pen. The snowflakes realized that free shit wasn't so free after all. But by the time they found that out, it was way too late. The final nail in the coffin was comically referred to as the Bridge of Death admission policy. Anyone in the country illegally, no matter the race, country of origin, religion, political belief, were allowed to stay. So, the president got the wish. Yeah, amnesty. Also, all immigrants were allowed in only with a cursory background check, known as the Bridge of Death questionnaire. What is your name? What is your quest? And what's your favorite color? Shortly after the inauguration, refugees from everywhere began pouring in. One particular man arrived at a major airport in the Northeast. Later, he was dubbed the happy asshole. It's because after everything went down, they looked at surveillance video, and it showed him laughing, smiling, high-fiving, and shaking hands of everyone he passed by. He was also coughing into his hand and touching every common surface, mostly doorknobs, handrails, that sort of thing. A few days later, he was found face down in a sanctuary city on the West Coast. One good Samaritan rolled him over and discovered the guy was barely alive, coughing weakly, and bleeding from his mouth, nose, and eyes. The police and paramedics came. Somebody thought it'd be funny to say the word Ebola. Almost caused a panic. The cops searched him a little bit more, and they found a piece of paper with the words, "Death to the Great Satan, Allah Akbar." Suddenly the cops got very serious, and they cleared the area. They called the FBI, but of course it was too late. The happy asshole had intentionally infected himself with the Ebola virus, then traveled to the U.S., infecting people from all over the world. They in turn infected fellow travelers, friends, family members, and so on. The guy died, and his body was taken to the CDC in Atlanta. The germ gurus held a news conference and said that the man in question only had a case of pneumocystis, which is a form of pneumonia that's common with AIDS patients. One of its symptoms is also coughing up blood. I have a medical background, and I knew that the CDC jerks were lying to keep the public from going full-on batshit psychotic. My wife and I had been watching the news since they found the guy, and we saw the security video. We were all in deep shit. There was no need to panic, they said, and no one did. Until the corpses started to pile up. One man, no assault rifle, no suicide vest, no beheading knife, had effectively brought down the world. As soon as the CDC news conference ended, my wife and I armed up, got our surgical masks, gloves, goggles, and headed out for supplies. We knew what was coming. Fortunately, most folks hadn't either seen the news or simply didn't believe that anything serious was going to happen. So far, no panicked populace. Our first stop was a local pet store to pick up parrot food and dog food. We used a credit card and bought every bag of each they had. As we were walking out, one of the clerks said, "What are you preparing for?" I laughed, turned around and said, "Zombies. What else?" Next, we hit a big box store for canned and dehydrated food. We filled 5 shopping carts and again paid with plastic. We got it loaded into the horse trailer we were dragging, then went back inside to the sporting goods section. I found a clerk that I'd been dealing with for the past several years. I got the clerk to open up the ammo display case and quickly scooped up boxes of 40, 45, 357, 7.62, 20, and 12 gauge ammo. The clerk was somebody I'd been dealing with for the past several years, and he was kind of looking at me funny, and then he got a real serious look in his eye. He said, "Do you know something I don't?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." I handed him 5 $100 bills and said, "Just keep bringing it up." Came to almost $6,000. This time we paid in cash. We got the ammo, started walking to the exit, and then it happened. It finally hit the fan.